Hello, and welcome to Your Brand Express podcast, the podcast where business owners, authors, coaches get a chance to articulate their processes and how they express their brands. With your hosts, Carl and CJ Aline. Get your favorite cup of coffee or tea and get a notepad and enjoy the ride. All right, everyone, we were hanging out with Paul Lopez, and he's with All One MMA. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, gentlemen. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here and sit down with gentlemen, fine-tuned guys that we can all merge our thoughts together as one. You know, very important.
Right on.
Thank you for having me.
Right on. Well, hey, for those who don't know, we go back.
Absolutely.
Go back.
Yes.
We go back to the 90s. Sure. What y'all know about that?
Yes.
I don't know about that,
but for sure. They don't know that. And we're still kicking it.
We're still doing it.
We can still kicking it, right?
Still doing it. Still kicking it. Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you said that, by the way. I'm glad you said that.
Yes, it's a very important because a lot of people think that they look at us at our age and like, oh, these guys, you're at a certain age where you're not supposed to be doing it. That's a limitation.
Good point.
Your limitation is not my limitation. If you want to stop growing, that's fine. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm a seed, right? I'm a seed that's going to constantly grow.
Ooh, you know? I love that.
I'm just going to constantly grow. Like age has nothing to do with growing, right? And constantly development. Development is the most important thing. If you don't develop yourself, you're not going anywhere. So our gym is called All One. The reason why I picked that name because it's extremely important to me because we all are one. People, when COVID and all this thing happened, people, if you notice, a lot of things been separated, different nationality, race, like religion and all that stuff. And you started seeing people come out of their shell. And, you go to different places and different functions, you see a group of people here, a group of people there, and you're like, people are not interacting. And then when COVID came, a lot of people lost touch with interacting with different people. They didn't know, they started to lose touch of learning how to socialize with other people. And that's when you see more things occurring, more violence, more things like that, because a lot of people don't know how to express themselves through, life. Like I express myself through the martial arts. So we've been around, right, Carl? You and I have been around forever. We've been around the world. We've seen people around the world. We were fortunate to see things and say, man, like we see a big change, big difference, right? So I said to myself, I don't want to call it any other thing but All One, because to me, that's the most important thing. And the gym that we have here in Hyde Park, we have, it's a gym. And I tell people it's a gym for development. Not a gym where people come and fight and just like that. Like you're going to be challenged here, but it's not to show who's better than, like I'm better than you. No, I'm not. I'm here for the same things you're here. I want to find a path and I want to develop myself.
Right.
It's not about who can punch the hardest, who can take someone down, who can kick the highest. No, that's in another gym. Most important thing I tell people that we're a family gym. We're considered all one because we're all one. And when we train, you look at around the room, you see all different nationalities, and we come together as one, a family here to train together.
It's amazing.
That's why that name means so much to me, because we have to, us as leaders, because we are leaders. Carl, you're a leader. CJ, you're a leader. I'm a leader, and it's very important for us to lead properly, right? Respectfully,
Right.
to have you know to have high standards of ourselves. We don't have high standards of ourselves, no one will.
Wow.
You know,
It's facts. Oof. Big facts. Man, and it's really cool because when I think about you, and that's what we're going to talk about with our episode today, loyalty. And it's like we've had conversations, but we haven't had all the conversations in the world. But I noticed that with the conversations we've had, right? And not just the conversations, but even your presence. To me, you always seem like a loyal person, loyal to your tribe, loyal to the people that you're leading, loyal to the students. Because I saw you from the breakdancing world, b-boying world. You were loyal to those students. Not just the students, though. You were loyal to your crew members, too.
yes.
And it was really cool to see that. I couldn't articulate it. But when I think about you, I think about that word loyalty. But hearing you, I see how it is connected with your leadership and your desire to bring people together and your desire for unity. And I mean,
Yes.
the name of your brand name says it all.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And you actually said it, Carl. The most important thing is like loyalty, and a lot of times you have to be careful with your loyalty because you can be loyalty to others, but their loyalty to you is not the same.
Mm.
Please be careful with that, because a lot of times you're gonna give your heart and trust in certain people, and you're like, but I thought no, just because you think like that doesn't mean he or she has to think that way. Everybody's loyalty is different.
Right. Wow.
So what I do, I treat people the way I would like to be treated. And I talk to people the way I would want to be talked to, and there's a lot of us that came from like broken homes and things like that in general, and you have to find a family. Sometimes you don't have a family at home and you have to find a family outside, and you have to be very aware of your surroundings to ensure that you make the right choices of your circle, because you can easily be misled.
Right.
And this is why we have this gym, because this gym is for us where we can come together and train together and rebuild ourselves brick by brick. It's a different gym. It's a different gym. Like we have once a month we come together and we watch movies all together, like the families and the kids. We sit here on the mats and we have popcorn and drinks, and we like soda and water, and we just laugh. We watch movies, but that bond is all one. To me, that's extremely important to see all different race and religions all together in one room, and we're sharing each other's families. We all becoming one family. Right. So to me, that's extremely, inspiring.
That's powerful, man. Well, I have a question for you, and then CJ's going to ask the second question. And actually, it talks about, well, it kind of has to do with what you were talking about just now. It's cool to see how everything's intertwined, man. That's powerful, man. And that just shows how much of a conviction it is for you, this whole loyalty and leadership and unity. Can you tell us a little bit about our audience? By the way, our audience is a wide range. It's from people from Australia, South Africa, Texas,
Beautiful.
Massachusetts, and hey, our goal is to be all one. There you go. I love that.
Beautiful.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Gotta apply that. Gotta apply that. Oh man, I mean, you just made me think about that. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, man.
Can you tell us a little bit about like your experience as a coach? You're an MMA coach. And your background is very vast as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience as a coach, even from youth to now? Because I love your story.
Okay. To be honest with you, well, I started as a fighter when I was a kid. I'll be honest with you. In my area that I grew up in Jamaica playing, and that era wasn't really, it was, you had not too many leaders in the area, right? So you had to find either you're a follower or you're a leader. So I choose to be a leader.
Right.
What I mean by that, I choose not to follow anyone else's path. I wanted to create my own path. So when I was a kid, I was training, I was boxing. I was learning how to box at the age of 6. And I would do like little boxing matches, little pee-wee boxing matches, it's, on my way up 6, 7, 8, coming up. And then I started seeing, like, I saw a movie of Bruce Lee. And I was like, oh, that's incredible, right? I was like, what? And then around at the age of 9 and 10, I started doing martial arts. There was a older man in my neighborhood, an Asian man who I used to see walking around in the winter with no shirt off. I'm like, what the heck? Like, no shirt on. Like, what's going on with this guy? And I used to see him in the backyard. He used to do all these weird stuff. Like, oh man, that's what I want to learn. So at an early age, I started training under him. And that actually got me involved in the martial art. And honestly, it really did me extremely well, because in my environment, there was a lot of people that were doing things to make money, or,
Right.
just not things that are, that are beneficial for themselves, right?
Right.
So they were trying to find a faster path to create money, some sort of income, and looking for attention and things like that. And I didn't want to be a part of that. Majority of my friends and the people that I looked up to, they were all doing it. And I said, do that.
Yeah.
Because I seen what was happening. I seen soldiers fall, and I seen people being addicted to certain things. And I say, oh my goodness, this is crazy. But this is all I have around here. What do I do?
Right.
What do I do? And I started training, and it's funny because people will make fun of me when they see me jogging and training. All my friends like, oh, what are you doing now? You should be over here on the block with us. And I'm like, nah. And then they used to make fun of me. Oh man, you're weird. Oh, you this and that. And I never let it change my path.
Right.
Because I didn't want to be like them. And people would call me names, people would say things and that, and I would be mad. Like, there are times where I just wanted to, like, crack somebody in the head, I'm like, I can't do that, because it just, it's like, and sometimes you will feel left out.
Right.
Most leaders are going to feel left out, because you have to find yourself. In order to find yourself, you have to be by yourself. Dark nights, lonely days, by yourself, talking to yourself, retuning yourself, rewiring yourself, right? All these obstacles are going to be in front of us. We have to overcome every obstacle that's put in front of us. These obstacles are put in front of us for a reason. God put you there. God put these obstacles in front of you. Say, let's see where you're going. Let's see if you're going to get over these obstacles like you want to. If you want that on the other side, if you want that, what you think about, you have to get through these obstacles to get to your vision. So I feel with all these obstacles and stuff like that, it got me to a mindset where I never wanted to be a coach, never did. But when I was training, I was doing pretty good. A lot of people were approaching me, hey man, can you train me? I'm like, nah, I don't want to train you. Hey man. And then I just wanted to focus on myself. I just wanted to fight, train, fight, compete. Then it came to a point where I had to make a decision. People kept approaching me and asking me to coach them. I'm like, why is everybody approaching me and asking me to coach them? And I'm turning these people away. And I said to myself, wait a minute. They took a lot of times they took away my opportunities for fighting for maybe for a certain name. or a certain title. And a lot of times I was not given that opportunity. And I started realizing that I was reflecting that way by not taking the people around me that wanted me to coach them. So I was, you see, so everything that I didn't achieve, and I fought a years and I did extremely well. I fought here, fought there, I did extremely well. But when I got to a certain point where certain names and certain titles were like, I want to avoid them because I was more of a threat. But then I came very like, I sheltered myself with that anger. So when people will come, hey, I want you, I'm like, I don't want to coach you. I don't want to coach you. I didn't realize that I was lashing out.
Wow.
You see? So I had to make a change. So I had to say, one day I came and I was by myself and I said, everybody kept asking me. I was getting frustrated. Stop asking me to coach you because I'm not going to coach anybody. Then I realized that I'm preventing them from going after their dreams because of the limitations that were put in front of me. Like, nope, you can't fight this person because of that. And I didn't realize it. So then I had to make a change. I had to make a switch. And I said, okay, wow, I can probably change that person's life. I can change her. I can help him. And that's when I switched. I said, okay, maybe let me try coaching. And ever since that, I just fell in love with it.
That's amazing. Right.
You know, but Absolutely. It's crazy how it works. It's like you go around in a circle. And a lot of times we don't realize that something is placed in front of you from other people. Sometimes like negativity, things like that. You're a sponge and you absorb it. And I felt like I absorbed that energy because they didn't want to give me the extra push to get to the level that I vision myself being. You know, they just kept chopping. And because of that, I was inside like, I was always angry with myself because no one wanted, at the time, they didn't want to give me that opportunity. And I started reflecting it when people were asking me.
Right.
And I had to make a change, you know? It was crazy how it works, right? But
that's good that you got a chance to see that though.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't. And that's what I mean about people that a lot of times they're misled. They're stuck in a routine. It's like, you know, it's like a mouse. You know how you get a hamster and they run in that thing, they go around in circle.
Yeah.
That happens. A lot of times we don't know how to change, right? You know what I'm saying? We keep going around in that, you know, that hamster thing going around in circle.
The hamster
and
wheel.
It takes
someone,
yeah, you know, the hamster wheel, they keep going, you see them run like, why don't you just get out, you know? That's what happens. A lot of times we have to like get shooken up and say, hey man, I got to get out of this boat and do it, you know? So it was pretty
right.
cool. And I love it now. It's been awesome.
That's great. I mean, I see you. I see videos too. Actually, I followed you on TikTok too.
Oh, thank you.
yeah. No, it's cool to see what you're doing with your students. And you know what stood out to me before no, that's not true because I've seen some of your videos before. But one of the things that stood out to you and that made me think about loyalty is some of the testimonials of your clients, some of the testimonials of your students. It's not like, oh yeah, Paul, he's a great coach. No, thank you, Paul, for all that you've done for me. And it makes sense because all of what you're saying now, they're not saying just for the martial arts. Thank you for all that you've done for me. You're hearing seeing things like that in your testimonials. It's really cool to see. That really grabbed my attention when I was reading the testimonials, you know.
Thank you. You know, it's vice versa because I thank them as much as they think.
Wow.
Because with them, I refine myself, right? You know, and you find yourself in other people.
No.
You know, and I think, you know, we all have to reach down and help one up. You always have to reach out and pull one brother up, one sister up. And that's important. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's cool. I love it. I want we to finish what you're saying. You're dropping some gems, man. When
Thank you.
you said you find yourself in others, do you think it's more so on the side of, not more so, but do you think that's also with like you find yourself with helping people?
Yes. Yes, you find fulfillment as a
Mm,
coach, as a mentor, as a leader,
mm,
and don't and let me tell you, there's a lot of people that we're doing, right? But they do it as a show. They put on a cape in front of people. I'm this who I am, and then outside they're not that person.
Mm.
This is who I am. I'm like this in the gym. I'm like this out the gym. Sometimes you see people inside the gym a certain way, then you see them outside, and they're like, oh, "Wait a minute, are you? Whoa, he had me fooled. She had me fooled." They're not one. You have to be one.
mm,
That's where that comes, like your mind, you know, your heart, your soul, your spirit. You have to be one. If you're not, you're going to be completely confused for the rest of your
mm,
life. You're not going to be on one path. There's four sides of a mountain, right? But it's only, one peak, right? All four goes to one peak,
Right.
right? And the most important thing is that you have to find yourself through tough times. And if you don't go through tough times, a lot of times you never find yourself. And I felt the fact that made me a really good coach because of my environment and with the obstacles that I had to face. Coming from the environment that we grew in, right? Carl, the things that we faced growing up, Carl, right?
right.
Carl knows, and here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. And we have seeds. You have a beautiful family and look at everything's beautiful.
Right.
But it was up to us either to stay on a path or not. We could have easily went the other way. Right.
Right.
And and yourself. You're a coach yourself.
Right.
You're a mentor yourself, you're a leader yourself, you're an entrepreneur yourself, right? So we
Right.
find ourselves in us. Like I see myself in you, I see you in me. So it's like I vibe off you all the time. I'm like, yo, check out Carlo, what he's doing. I need that. I need that
Right.
for my tough days, because every day is not
Mm,
going to be rainbows and lollipops. You know what I'm saying?
you're
So
right.
I have to go and I have to look for the people like yourself that are constantly inspiring me. We
Right.
have to help each other. We have to be there for each other. This broadcast is incredible. I really love it. I really
Well,
do.
I tell you what, this episode's gonna change a lot of lives.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think that I believe in the power of changing in people, and making an impact on people's lives and changing people's lives now. And what I mean by that is hearing a couple of words is enough to help change someone's life. I really believe that. If I
Yes.
hear two or three gems from you and I carry that on for the next 15, 25 years, I hope I'd acknowledge that. But even if I didn't, I have to admit to some extent, in some way, it's made an impact on me. Truth is, it did make an impact on me. So I
Thank you.
appreciate your
Thank you.
humility in saying that, because I feel the same. I see myself in you, my brother, and
Thank
just,
you so much.
I also, I
That's an
see
honor.
hey,
That's an
it's
honor.
true. Your discipline, your peace, your patience, and your silent leadership, which was a very loud leadership, actually. You know what I mean? Not sure if that makes sense, but the way you led and the way you set an example, you know, I know for me, like you were one of those guys who was like super humble. Your humility rang very loud to me. And that's important, and especially in today's society where humility is not something that's praised or even paid attention to. It's not the most sexy thing, right? But it's
Yeah.
so important because it leads. It leads foundationally. Like you talked about the mountain, it leads from that core of that mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
And I tell people the truth. Like there are people I tell people I lost plenty of matches. And it's fine because it it shows you that you have room to develop, right? That's the most important thing. It's the way you take it is what it can either make you or break you, right?
Right.
mm,
That's just why I train every day. Like I constantly developing myself every day. And to me, I mean, that's the most incredible thing. You know, that's just, I don't know, it's just incredible the things that you can find about, you know, that you can, like, I don't know, like fine tune things and learn new ways how to deal with certain situations, right? Like to me, that's extremely important. Like I'm training, I'm sparring a grapple, I'm like, oh wow, I just thought of a new way how to deal with this or that, you know, through dancing, right, Cole?
Right.
Dancing is expressing yourself. You have to express yourself. So we express ourselves through many things, through movement, right? Through dancing, through martial arts, you know, through singing. You know, it's so much, so many things, man. And a lot of people are scared to show who they really are. And that's sad. That's sad. I show people who I am. This is me. You know, a lot of people thought I was going to be this big. I'm like, no, 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 I'm not. Not. And I'm like everyone else. I'm like everyone
Right.
else. Look, I look for to grow my family. You know, here at the gym in All One, and you know, help change people's lives for the better, and they can help me change my life for the better also, right? Because I'm constantly getting better each day. The most important thing is it's development, right?
Right.
That's where coaching brought me. Coaching brought me to fine tune things about myself and rediscover things and make changes mentally, right?
Right.
Spiritually. It's become a better leader, a better father, a better role model. So I'm taking a lot from it. Like there's a lot of people that think like, oh, you're doing this for this person. I'm like, they're doing this for me. You see, so we both win, right? One person doesn't win, we both win, right? It's beautiful,
Win-win.
man.
Win-win.
Yes.
CJ, you had another question?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Paul.
Go ahead, champ.
How have you seen loyalty that you express kind of like have you seen it like translate to success, if that makes sense? Like the loyalty that you show, do you feel like that's a part of your success story?
Well, you know, I feel the fact that I don't see the way I look at that expression. I look at okay, I help people achieve their dreams and goals, and it was their dedication. You know, they had to come and meet me here. Right? That's the most important thing. I said the minute you walk through that door, you're a champion. The minute you walk through that door and leave everything outside to become one so we can come and chase your dream to make it a goal, we can do it together. But you have to come. You have to meet me here. You have to be honest with yourself what you want. How much are you willing to put in is the most important thing. Yeah, like I have fighters who fought in Bellator, UFCs, pro boxing, pro Muay Thai, pro Jiujitsu. And, you know, they come back. They come back and they want to train and stuff like that. And, you know, I tell them I can get you to the front door to these events. Like I could train you to develop your skill, but you have to meet me there. Right? You have to come, and it's a lot of sacrifice, right? There's a lot of sacrifice that you have to be willing to make these changes, right? Because if you want to make changes in anything, there's sacrifice, right? Like when I was up and coming, like I tell them, I'm gonna give you what I did. My mindset, we have to sit here, we have to talk, and a lot of times we train and we sit and we talk because we have to have a bond. We have to have a strong bond. So if we don't have a strong bond, then I feel the fact that if you're not willing to let go of certain things in life that's going to prevent you from elevating, then my work's going to be movement, right? Not progress. Because it's going to be just wasted time.
Mm.
So that's how I look at things. And I'm very happy when I see, just people who want to come and make a change in their life. Because I tell the minute you walk in here, you train as a fighter. Like we all have a fight. But when my client comes to me and goes, Coach, thank you. I have a better understanding of myself. I have a strong relationship with my family. Me and my wife are one. To me, that's the championship belt right there. I won. You see, no title out there is going to ever fulfill that. Me. That's fulfillment. So that's what I want, that battle. Mm. How can we make your life better? How can we meet in the middle? Because people come to train and people come to talk. Some people come here, they train and they cry. And I go, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine. Let it out. I've been there. I've done it. And they look at me. Yeah. I'm honest with everyone. And I feel the fact that that's what keeps the loyalty. The fact that I can be so open with people and they go, my goodness, you did it too? Like, yeah. Oh my God. Mm. So there's nothing to be embarrassed. Well, you know what I'm saying? So to me, that's that's the belt. That's the loyalty. The fact that I am so open with everyone and I don't judge anyone. You have coaches that would judge people. Oh, this guy's lazy. Oh, this person's this person eat. And I'm like, those are labels. You're labeling someone, but you don't understand what the things that they are facing. If I'm saying that, then I'm not one with you because you and I are not on the same course. If I'm labeling you like, oh, this guy shows up late, oh, this woman shows up late, oh, she comes heavy, dude, I'm labeling you. That's not good. Right. I got to find out what is going on. We got to be together. Like, what is going on? Why are you showing up late for your sessions? We had to wait. You're above it. Like what's going on? And I don't go in that order, but it leads to the point where they're open to the coach. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I'm like, okay. Is there a reason why? And it comes to something inside of them that needs to be, that we need to work together to overcome. So those are things, see, that's what I mean, as being a coach, or, Carl will tell you, it takes a lot of responsibility. You have to be one with yourself in order for you to ensure that you are planting the proper seeds and ensure that you are, watering the seeds, ensuring the seed gets the proper lighting in order for it to grow, right? Because if you don't do that, it's never going to grow. And if it does, it's going to be weeds.
Facts, right? Big facts. Woo! Hey, listen, y'all need to pause it. A lot of gems. Pause it or stop it and then rewind it and go back from the beginning and then come back to it because this is good. Oh, were you gonna say something, CJ?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like we can even put labels on ourselves. Like, we try to uphold this image that we want to have. So, like, we maybe you want to stand for being a positive person, but there might be those days where it's hard. You know what I mean? And we could put on the front and act like, everything's all right, but really it's not. And I think what you're saying about just being more vulnerable, being open, showing like you've been there, like it just makes it more real. It makes it more like this is real. This is not just like
it's not a story.
Yeah, it's not a story. Right? Exactly.
It's not a movie.
Yeah. Right.
And you're honestly, you're absolutely right. And sometimes, people are not themselves. They wear a mask. They wear a mask so you can see them differently. They want to be someone else, so they don't show who they really are. And that's sad. Very sad. Because, and the thing about labeling, you're absolutely right. Sometimes we label ourselves by our own beliefs, by our own limitations, but we're doing it to ourselves.
Crazy.
We label ourselves.
Right.
Now, you can label yourself, you can brand yourself. What do you want to do? It takes the same energy, labeling yourself and branding yourself. You put in time into labeling yourself, so won't you put time into branding yourself? Same energy. Right? Honestly, it's the same. When people say, when they used to tell me, when you step in a ring, do you get nervous? I go, I get excited. Let me explain something about being excited and being nervous. It's the same nervous system. You have to trick your mind to say that you're excited, not nervous. It's the same feeling. You sweat, you get excited, your heart rate goes up, you start sweating. What happens when you get nervous? Same thing.
Same thing.
What happens when you get excited? Same thing, right? So when we label it, just like you mentioned, when you label it, be careful how you label it. The way we label ourselves, you can either label yourself or brand yourself. You can pick and choose. See,
I love that.
I know it can be kind of weird sometimes, but
No, it's you know what it shows to me too? This is how powerful our minds are.
yes,
And the importance of using it, and this is where coaching, coaches are really helpful, I mean, you said a couple things that was deep, man, to be honest. I mean, even taking it back from, like some coaches judge and label in that negative way. Oh, he's lazy or she's lazy or fat or whatever. You know what I mean?
yes.
But it takes patience and empathy to be able to take time to say, okay, what's going on? What's really going on?
Yes.
How can I support you? That's
Absolutely.
different than get it together. And I mean, some people like that.
Yes.
I get it. But the challenge with that, it doesn't last long.
Absolutely.
It doesn't
Absolutely
last.
right, Carl.
But when you take time to unravel and lay things out and say, hey, you create the environment of saying, okay, let's take a look at this journey now. You also train the person. And we started talking about sports, training through sports, but it's a great cross-training for life.
Yes,
Take the time to unpack. You also train the other person and teach them how to do the same. And then they can take that throughout the rest of their lives. That's legacy right there. That's loyalty. That's leadership.
Yes.
So when you said that, I'm like,
no, and you're right, Carl. You're absolutely right. And then what that seed does, it plants it into other seeds, right? Through their families, through their friends, through their circles. And now you just create a community that is very strong, very healthy, and leaders, right? Not followers now. And I think that is missing. It's missing. I talk to a lot of people, and I have, just like yourself. I mean, we have a following, and people are constantly contacting us about either seminars and shows and things like that in general. And it gets kind of confused, because what happens is a lot of people see what they can take from you, right? What they can take. Like me, I've been in this business for a long time. And a lot of people took from me, took to benefit themselves, right? And that's what I mean about when we go back to like loyalty. Sometimes the loyalty that you have to others, they don't have back.
Right.
That loyalty that you have is totally different than the loyalty they have from you. They see what they can receive from you.
Right.
I can make a lot of money off this guy. I can make a lot of money off this guy. And then you get caught up in that. So you're like, yeah, I'm helping out. I'm doing this. I'm helping up. And like, no, man, you're doing the labor. You see what I'm saying? So going back to that loyalty, I think that needs to be like refined. Like I tell people, be careful with the word loyalty. The only person that you should be loyal to is yourself when you're working on developing yourself, because you need to put the time and the dedication to yourself into branding yourself. So if you want a specific job, you have to work extremely hard to go against other people to get that job. So that's a fight. Everything we do in life is a fight. People don't realize. To wake up in the morning, it's a fight.
Right.
To go to school, it's a fight. To go to work, to go to a job interview, it's a fight, right? To stand in line in Starbucks, it's a fight. To drive, if someone cuts you off, it's a fight. It's a constant battle. So the most important thing is that we have to be in tune with ourselves and be in control of our emotions. Because when we lose to our emotions, we lose to ourselves. So the most important thing is, I tell people that learning how to express yourself and learning how to pace yourself and learning how to not let things take you off your course, because those are all obstacles. You have to understand that when you're driving and someone cuts you off and they give you the finger, they give you the finger. Those are obstacles that we have to go through in life. Or you go up to a young lady and you're talking to her and someone just steps in, and you're like, oh, I gotta take a step back. Sometimes our pride is tested and we gotta go, is it really worth it? No. I'll see you later. You walk, and they can say whatever they want. Oh, this guy's this, but it's okay. You live to see another day. Be another day. A lot of times we feel like our manhood's tested and we have to show, we have to stand up, we have to put the shield out. We lose in the end. Because then they see a side of you that you don't want to show. You're not that person. That's your emotion. It's not you. But now they look at you as that person. Now this person starts starting the story change, and now they look at you as a monster. You're not a monster. So being a coach, I tell people because people are constantly asking me, they say, I want you to do a workshop about coaching. I'm like, you have to put your cards on the table. Because I feel in order for you to coach, you should be one with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself.
Right.
It's like, I don't smoke, I don't drink. Never did. And I'm not against people who do it. I just never did.
Right.
I don't drink because when I fought, if you get cut, your blood gets thin and you bleed and you can't stop yourself from bleeding and you can die. Right? So yeah, it's crazy. So I never, drank. Maybe say New Year's, once every 5 years, I'll have one drink, but that's it. But I don't drink because like I said, it wasn't for me, right? And some people feel like they have to do these things to fit in certain groups, to fit in. Or I need to drink so I can socialize. No, you don't have to drink to socialize. That's insecurity, man. That's something that you need to build. You need to develop that. So you don't have to turn to this to feel like, okay, I have the courage to talk. I have to do this. No. So when I say that I'm more than, when people come and they go, oh, coach, you're an entrepreneur. I go, no, I'm just a hard worker. Right? I'm just a grinder. And I'm a sponge. I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly growing. That's how I live my life, man.
Love it.
I love your perspective on things. It's like it's just eye opening. Like some things just you don't have to. It's just so I feel like some people just that's all they know. They know all they know is drinking to cope with, or all they know is smoking to get away from, feel like they can escape from something. But really, like this is powerful stuff.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But what happens, CJ? When you smoke, you feel good for I don't know how much time, but when you come back, the problem is still there. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's still there. It's not gonna run away. It's only a problem if you don't deal with it. Okay? That's the most important thing. Like stress is only stress if you don't deal with a situation. If I have to call him back. I have to get to that. If I do that, it becomes stress. But if I go, I'm gonna do it right now, it doesn't become stress. So a lot of times we create our own holes, right? We don't realize that because we're so, you know what? I'll do that later. I'll do that. And then what happens? You got 5 or 6 things and you're trying to do, I gotta do it. Now it becomes stress. But we did it to ourselves. So time management is extremely important. Like my days start at 4:30 a.m. It's my first session. And I go all day. I take a break, 4:30 a.m. I'm training, I'm sparring, hard session. Because if I can deal with these tough obstacles that are put in front of me, everything else is easy. You see? So through my whole entire day, I wake up at 4. I get myself ready. The gym at 4:30, put the mouthpiece, we're training. From 4:30, 5:30, Jiujitsu. Live rolling. From 6:30 to 7:30, Muay Thai. And it's like bang, 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 back to back, back to back. But I'm refining myself, and rebuilding myself. Constantly developing myself through these obstacles in life, right? Because when I train, I look at those as the obstacles that I need to get over in order for me to be pure, to be one, to have an understanding of myself, to be at peace. So that's just the way I live my life, and honestly, it's the way I would not change it. I would not change it at all. There's people tell, you need. I'm like, my routine has gotten me to where I am now. So why should I change it?
We know it resonates, man. Everything all this you said, but when you said loyalty to yourself, and made me think about that in a way that I've never thought about it. It reminded me of being loyal to myself, loyal to showing up.
Yes.
And when I'm loyal to showing up, I'm gonna show up. Not that I'm doing it, and you're letting your light shine. You're giving, you're serving, you're delivering value to people, and that brings fulfillment. But even within that, I'm able to have boundaries and make sure I work smart and wise.
Yes.
But I'm showing up and I'm loyal to that. That's powerful, man.
Yeah. And you know what it is you found your why. Right? A lot of people go around this world not know their why.
Yeah.
What is your purpose in life? God put you here for a reason.
Right.
I was talking to a guy. He was like, we were at a walk, and in the back bay, look at John Hancock. I was like, oh man, that building is beautiful. I would love to work for a company like that. I said, why don't you just do the same thing that John Hancock did? He's like, what do you mean? I said, you said that that's a beautiful building, but you want to work for him. Why don't you just create your own building, like your own company, work for yourself? You're extremely talented. Oh, no, I can't ever do that. Why? Who said that? Well, I feel, wait a minute, let's go back. You feel, wait a minute, let's go back. What? Why are you shooting yourself in the foot? You know, there's a story where people say, I want to have the biggest building on the block. Some people say, in order to have the biggest building, I got to knock down every other building so my building stands up. I go, no. You just want to build the biggest building. You don't have to knock down anyone else's building. Just build your building. Don't be like anyone else. You don't have to like destroy anyone's hard work. I'm just like totally so against that. Like there are people that are constantly asking me, Coach, how do you do this? Coach, how do you like why? I mean, how you got that big job in Dubai? How are you working over here? How are you working there? I'm like, you work by constantly challenging myself, making better plans and choices, right? And creating a circle of people that you can relate to, that can help you, because you can't do it alone, right? You need other people, and I'm so proud of you, Kyle, for doing this, because I was thinking that there should be more of this, and like more of organizations where people can come together and talk to people who already achieved certain goals in their lives, and maybe there's someone who wants to follow your footsteps, or someone's footsteps, and they need some sort of guidance, right?
Right.
And honestly, that's not really out there, because in school they don't really teach you about business. It's terrible. And everything's about, in order for you to succeed, you have to have great relationships with others. But in order for that, you have to rewire yourself. You have to develop yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because the conversations that I have with people today, if I had this conversation 10 years ago, I won't be able to have it, because I didn't develop myself. See?
Right.
So you got to constantly develop yourself and grow.
That personal development, man. Yeah, a lot of, and they teach certain things they teach, and that's not, I'm not knocking schools, but it's a lot of stuff isn't practical. It's theory stuff.
Absolutely. Agree.
You mentioned grind, like the practical in the trenches grind. You know what I mean? Teaching that, and even personal development, how to get there, how to take those steps.
Yes.
And that's absolutely the hard thing, is it can be taught by those people who are experienced in doing them, who you could teach people the steps that you've taken. You could show somewhat of a blueprint. Even if the blueprint gets old, you could always update it.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right, Carl. And this is the reason why you see a lot of kids in the streets, because they don't have the guidance. They have dreams just like you and I. They have dreams. They don't have anyone there that can help them reach their goal. So they get so frustrated, and they do this and they do that. I get it. I used to be a CO, correction officer, for many years. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, I was a correction officer to my family members, my friends, people that I grew up with. And that was a wake-up call, because we grew up in the same block. We grew up maybe in the same household.
Yeah.
Right? Same bloodline. What prevented me from being on the other side of the door was my belief in myself. So, and don't get me wrong. Get me wrong. We're not perfect. Like, we make mistakes. We all make mistakes. There's no such thing. I made mistakes growing up, right? But are you going to learn off them, or are you going to burn off them? That's the most important thing. If you keep repeating it, then you didn't learn. Right? So that's why I'm so honest with people. When people are like, yeah, I mean, they know that was you were CEO for this. I'm like, yeah. And I tell people the truth. Like, so, How did it feel? I'm like, honestly, it was like a family reunion. And I tell them the truth. I'm like, dude, I was a CEO for tons of my family members, and it's like, I had to do my job.
Right.
Now, swallow that pill. When you, as a correction officer, you're a CEO to some of your family members. How do you conduct yourself? How do you handle it? Right? Because the pressure's on you. Your captain's looking at you. Your partners are looking at you. Your lieutenant is looking at you. Your family members like, yo. His friends are looking at you. That's you're related. Oh, okay. All eyes on you.
Wow.
What's the pressure? Right?
Ooh.
What would you do? You see? You stand alone.
Wow.
What would you do? It's a tough situation. No one knows until they put in that predicament.
Right.
I tell the truth. I have nothing to hide. So I feel that all the things that I dealt with has made me who I am today. Because I was able to overcome those obstacles. And every day I had to show up to work and face those obstacles. And every day I was tested. Every day I was questioned. You know what I'm saying, Carl?
Wow.
So CJ, you see that? So these are things that you coming up, that obstacles.
Yeah.
What's important, CJ, is be loyalty to yourself. Because the people around you, you might consider them friends. And I learned because I've been in this business and a lot of people took from me. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them at all. They're still my friends. You see?
Yeah.
They're still my friends because a lot of times we are providers and people need to be around providers because we provide for other people. Right, Carl? Carl knows.
Right.
Carl's been in this business for a long time. Carl
yeah.
Carl and I used to battle people. Carl and I used to sit side by side battling people, right, Carl? We felt that. We felt that pressure, right, Carl?
You see? The pressure.
Carl knows exactly what I'm talking about. You see? So, and like I tell people the truth. I'm like, hey, man, what I experienced is what made me who I am today.
Right.
And I'm just honest with people. I'm like, you have to meet me there. You got to meet me there. They go, oh, I want this, I want that. I'm like, do you really want it? Do you really want it? Like, there are people that say, Coach, I want to shadow you. I'm like, then you have to be here at 4:30 a.m. They're like, what? They look at me like, right? And I'm like, yeah, and you're not standing there. We go live. You don't know. We're sparring. We're grappling. 4:30 in the morning. Yeah. Because this is what I have to go through to get to where I need to be. I have to go through these obstacles in order for me to be pure. It's like you're shaking off that fur. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta shake things off. You gotta brush everything off in order for you to feel complete. I have to train the way I train for me to feel. I have to empty out my cup, right? You ever heard of that? Empty out my cup.
Kind of like pour yourself out. You see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Empty out my cup. Right. When people look at a cup that's half full, they look at the cup saying it's half full. Some other people, when they look at it, it's half empty. Depends how you look at it.
Perspective, right?
Perspective. It's crazy. That's true. Oh man, I tell you, Paul, today was full of a lot of gems.
Thank you, man.
So if people were, so we have our audience, we have, like I mentioned, we have people from different places across the world.
Yes.
If one wanted to find you to see what you're doing, where can we find you online?
Online, All One MMA. I also have one on Facebook, All One MMA, on Instagram too, All One MMA. And a lot of people, they reach out to me for advice and things like that, for training or just advice with certain things. And I tell, if I don't have the answer, I'll try to point you in that direction. But most likely, a lot of people contact me about training, about fighting, or how to take the steps, to become a fighter. So, or just things in general. You'd be surprised what people contact me for, and I'm actually, I love it. I love it. It's awesome. So the gym is called All One. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
The gym is called All One MMA, and we're in Hyde Park, 98 Business Street, Hyde Park, 2A. So if anyone's in the area, you're more than welcome to stop by. Tell them that Carl and CJ has sent you. You guys could come in and have a free week of training.
Ooh! Wow! Wait!
It's a part of me.
What?
You guys can come down. You guys
you talking to us?
But I'm talking to you guys, and I'm saying for anyone that says I'm from Carl and from CJ, you guys have a free week.
Ooh,
that's how strong our bond is. You see, Carl? That's how strong our bond is, right?
Brother, I appreciate it. And hey, I hope y'all listen. Y'all better take advantage of that. That's a great opportunity.
In the Mass area, Boston area, definitely.
Yes.
That's huge.
Please
definitely.
Stop by. If you say Carl send you, CJ, you're in for a week, free week. Try all the classes you want. Let's get it in, guys. All the boxing, the Muay Thai Kickboxing, the Jiujitsu, the MMA. All yours for a week, free, guys. Let's take advantage of it.
Take advantage, y'all. There you have it.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed our podcast. If you would be so kind, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you're listening to any of our platforms, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whichever one, please be so kind to give us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed the podcast. And we'll talk to you soon.